You can. Hello, my name is Starlight. Welcome to my YouTube channel, and I'm reaching out to all of you beautiful souls out there. I hope you're able to get out in nature like Starlight is, and what a beautiful day. I hope you're getting out, and make sure you get plenty of water and wear something on your skin to protect yourself. You don't want sun cancer. That's very bad. So make sure you get out, but be wise on how much sun you get, and also to get plenty of water. And if you are new to my YouTube channel, welcome, and you can find me on YouTube, and that is at Starlight, and that is Kathy with a K, Dingman Starlight. So also you can give my videos a thumbs up, and you can subscribe to my YouTube channel. Don't be afraid, don't be shy. Swing by and say hi, Starlight, by leaving a comment down below. Beep, beep, beep. And you can also share my videos with your family, your friends. A wolf and a eagle. Also, you could check out my playlist and find me on Instagram at 1995 Starlight, or on Facebook, and that is Kathy with a K, Dingman Starlight. Welcome if you are new, and thank you to all of you who have been here, who have been loving and supporting Starlight from the beginning, or maybe you just recently joined me on this YouTube channel. So this is where Starlight is going to help everyone the best that she can, to help you to understand how we've been lied to, and also how to work on yourself by letting go of people and things that no longer serve you. So welcome, and there's much, much more. That is just a little bit of what Starlight talks about, but I just want to say a big, huge thank you to all of you. Yeah, you and you and you, for loving and supporting Starlight by leaving a thumbs up and subscribing, plus leaving me a message down below, or even sharing my videos. So anyway, here we go. Today I want to talk to you about letting go of who you think you are. So in this video I'm going to help you to understand that, in society, here's a beautiful skate park here. Well, it's just, this is all there is for the skate park, but it's great to have this for the people that are in skateboarding and stuff. So anyway, this video here is to help you to understand is that there's many versions of ourselves, and we got to let go of who we think we are. Everyone is wearing a mask out in society, not really feeling comfortable in their own skin and not really being their authentic self. And so it's so important to not be afraid to be yourself. And can you really be yourself around your family? Can you really be who you are around your friends? And that is what this video is about. A lot of times that answer is no. Who you really are is when you're all by yourself, when you're alone and when nobody's around. That's who you really are. But can you act that way in front of other people? Can you be yourself around your mom or dad or brothers or sisters? More than likely, no. Will they let you really talk about the things that really, that you're really interested in? Or will they, sigh and make a noise or not even listen to anything that you say? So that's when we end up closing up, and that's when we don't, we're afraid to say anything because of the way people respond when we get excited talking about different things. So that is why everybody is wearing a mask one way or another. You could be wearing a mask around your mom and dad. You want to talk about stuff, but they don't believe in what you're talking about. They don't want to hear what you got to say. So then you don't talk about those things that mean the most to you. How about your friends? How many friends do you have? Oh, Starlight, I got lots of friends. I do know a lady that's on my YouTube channel. She struggles with making friends. So you must be your best friend first. Work on yourself. Be real with yourself first. Be honest with yourself first. And then later on, it's a lot of people say they got a lot of friends, even like on my Facebook. You know what? I've met some of those people on my Facebook, but do we spend time together? I used to spend time with those people a long time ago when I used to smoke marijuana, but I you know what? I don't do that anymore. So there's not a whole lot in common that we have, so, and that is why a lot of people, they're faking it till they make it in life, pretending to be somebody they're not really being able to express who they really are to the fullest. And that is why, there's many versions of who we think we are. And I love who I am. I'm learning to love myself more and more every day. And I have to say a big, huge thank you to my mentor, is I didn't love myself before I started watching his YouTube channel. And that's Infinite Waters, Ralph Smart. I wasn't loving myself. Before I found him, I wanted to end my life because I didn't love myself. Now, if you love yourself, would you be trying to end your life? No, you wouldn't do that. So, that man actually helped me to save my own life. I was my worst enemy, really. It wasn't anybody else, it was me. And so we gotta accept ourselves. And, in this society, when people don't stand up for you and be there to love and support you, you know what? It's not personal. You gotta be the one that loves yourself well enough that you're your biggest cheerleader. And even if you do have people that are loving and supporting you, be grateful for those people. Be there for those people that are there for you. Not everyone is gonna be cheering you on. So you gotta love yourself enough and to let go of people who don't love and support you, because it is not personal, really. And that's easy to say, but it's hard to really do it when you're going through it. There's a lot of times that we get really offended when people say different things to us, and it could ruin our whole week, really, if we let it. But I realize, because of the help of my mentor, is that this is all, and I knew this before I met my mentor, but this here is real. Planet Earth is real, but we're living in a stimulation, and everything is set up in a certain way. So if you get offended by what somebody says, a lot of times we gotta really stand up for who we believe we are. And there's layers to that. There's levels to that. Just because you're who you think you are today, if you're doing the work, if you're doing the inner work in your life, if you're saying no to fear, if you're facing your fears, if you're letting go of people who no longer love and support you, if you're loving yourself even with your flaws, if you're, changing your life by little bit by little, that's all you got to do, little bit by little. Don't overwhelm yourself with, because then you're going to feel like you're not good enough, and you are enough. You got to understand you are enough. Even if you did a little bit of something new every day, or change something today that yesterday you didn't do. Yesterday you're like, I screwed up there. And that's okay. Let it go. It's about accepting yourself. And when you do that inner work and you grow, you'll find another version of yourself, and another and another and another, the more you keep on working on yourself. So who you think you are today is not who you're going to be all the time. Let's see, I see a road over here. So Starlight is going to actually go this way because it's going towards the shade. So you got to let go of an old version of you. And that is why my name is Starlight. That's a new version of myself. That's my upgrade, and that's what we need in our life. We need an upgrade. We need to let go of who we thought we were, who we think we are, by working on yourself, where you get that says private property. So maybe I'm not supposed to go through that way. See, Starlight doesn't agree with that private property because it's nobody's land, it's God's land. My father owns this. So anyway, yes, you got to let go of who you think you are. As long as you're doing that inner work inside of yourself and you're being real. You got to be real in order for this to work out. If you're just that type of person that claims that you're doing everything, and that, oh yeah, I'm doing that, and yeah, I'm doing this, and yeah, but you're not, You're only hurting yourself. The universe, God, knows if you're being real with yourself. And that's what's the most important thing, is to being real with yourself. Forget about everyone else. Just look at you in the mirror. Who are you for real? Who are you at the deepest core of who you think you are? So that is so important, is to really work on yourself. And there's times what you're going to have to do is to get out in the wilderness. And that's what Starlight had to do. I had to let go of everything, everyone, and get out in the wilderness to find out who I really am. So it's been a journey, out here doing what I'm doing, letting go of everything, and was it scary? Absolutely. I have to be real with you. Yeah, it was scary. But the universe helped me to take that layer of fear out, and then it was, I'm like, okay, now I'm not so afraid. Then something else would come up. Oh, I'm afraid. And then God showed me, no, Starlight, we don't want you. You got to let go, because we've been programmed and conditioned to believe, that we are who we think we are. But we've been programmed to believe certain things in our life, to create this version of yourself that they want you to be stuck. They don't want you to grow. Even the churches, they don't want you to grow. I've been there. They only, it's like there's people out there, they don't want you to become any greater than them, They only want you to grow so much. They don't want you to actually make them look bad. So they will keep you small. So you don't want to stay small, and that's how you're going to find out that, wow, look at all these other things that I can do. And look at, the more you get out of your comfort zone and getting out of your comfort zone, trying new things, that's when you're going to find out. Starlight's going to just take a peek. I don't know if this is just a trail or not. Nope. So you got to get out of your comfort zone. Try things that you never tried before. And those are going to help you to expand and finding more of what you can do and what you enjoy, in life. So you got to be real with yourself. I had to let go. I love Kathy Dingman, Kathy with a K, Dingman. She went through hell. She taught me so many things in my life, but I got an upgrade. I love Kathy Dingman. It's even hard for me to say that name, because that's an old version of myself. I don't smoke marijuana anymore. I don't do drugs anymore. I don't go to the bar scene, to dance. I don't have those kind of friends anymore that kept me stuck. I had to let go of her. But I had to also keep the wisdom and the knowledge that she taught me. So, because Kathy Dingman couldn't go through life anymore out here. And that's why I had to work on myself, and realize that there's other dimensions here on this planet. You don't have to stay in the third dimension. You can rise. In the third dimension, the 3D, is a low frequency, a fear frequency, a low vibration. And that's where Kathy Dingman lived her whole life, is in that low frequency, low vibration, the third dimension. But once you realize that you don't have to stay there, that you can let go of that fear. And that's what they've done to us through so many ways in life, through the news, through the people that we're around, the things that we watch, the things that we listen to, keeps you down at a low frequency, a low vibration, keep you distracted. So, your mind goes on everything but you. And everything that you're looking for is not outside of you, it's inside of you. And this is exactly what they've done, is they've lied to us. So who you are today is, you could become so much more than who you are today, who you think you are. When you do that inner work and you let go of, you say, hey, I love that, my old version of myself, but you know what? I'm going to get an upgrade. I'm going to start working on myself. I'm going to start changing my diet around. I'm going to start exercising more. I'm going to start doing, getting out in nature more, go out in the woods, and parks are great, but if you can get out to a woods, that's even better, so, and then you're going to work on things like letting go of people, you thought they were your friends. Starlight had to let go of not a lot, but I had to let go enough people on this journey of realizing, you know what, I, you know, I didn't love myself. That's why I thought they were my friend. You know, if you got friends in your life right now and you don't love yourself, they might not be your friends. If you don't really love who you are, you're not going to respect yourself. You're not going to have a voice, to stand up against things. You're going to let people run over top of you, and you're going to think that's just the norm. It's not. You can change. You can actually, learn to love yourself. That's how you're going to find out who you really are, is by loving yourself, accepting yourself, accept the things that happened in the past. It's okay. Don't worry about what other people think and what they said, what you did and what you were guilty at. Forget about that, because they've got their own shit. Maybe they never got caught doing what they did, and I do know people that they are very spiteful. When somebody does them wrong, oh my, they are so spiteful, is that anytime their name comes up, man, you don't even want to bring up their name, because they'll just talk and they'll gossip, and it could have been something they did when they were 20 years old, but now that person's going to near 60 years old. But I know the people very well, and I know the person that's upset with this person when they were 20 and still upset with that person when they're almost 60. They did stuff that was worse than the person that they got hurt from, So there's a lot of people that they will hate and despise other people, have a grudge and not forgive them, but they did worse things than who they are upset with. They don't see that they had flaws. They don't see the corrupt things that they've done in their life. They only can see what that person has done. So that's why it's so important to let go of people who no longer love and support you. And it doesn't matter what other people think or say about you, is because only you know yourself better than anyone, except for God. God's the one that knows us way better than ourselves. So it doesn't matter what people say of the choices that you made when you were younger. You're past that now. It's all right to let all that stuff go. There's nothing really that I did when I was younger that that I'm embarrassed about, is because that was a long time ago. That's how I found out who I was, who I am today, is by trying things, and doing things and making the wrong choices. Because when I find out that it's the wrong choice, it wasn't for me, that helps me to break it down to who I really am. That's not me. That I tried it. Been there, did that, tried it. A lot of people were doing it. But you know what? I realized, if I never tried it, I would have been always wondering what it would have been like to try something like that. So at least I was brave enough to take a risk and try something, even if I knew if anybody found out, they would rub it in my face. But I took that chance, and it's okay, And if people find out about it, oh well, whatever. Because I was going through things at that time in my life, and you know what? I found out it wasn't for me. So it's so important to love yourself no matter what. You got to let go of what other people, because what other people think about you or what you've done in your past, because it doesn't matter. It matters of what you're doing today. What are you doing today? Focus on now, not in the past. Focus on who you're becoming. What kind of changes, what kind of steps have you made in your life to be who you are today? Have you done anything? Are you working on yourself? If not, you still can. It's not too late. Don't think, I could have done that, and I could have done this, and now, I'm just accepting things the way they are, and I'm not going to do anything about it. No, you can work on yourself today. It's never too late. No matter who you are, we're all here to learn and grow. So anyway, letting go of your old version of yourself is so important, because there's other versions that you can become to become that change that you want to see and become your greatest version. And it's about letting go of who you think you are. You don't have to be who you think you are today. As long as you do that inner work on yourself, you'll find out, wow, look at, we are all stars. We are all, it's not the stars out in Hollywood. No, we are the stars. That is just a trip that is just to pull you away. That is just to distract you. That is to, to get you into horrible things in life. So you don't want to follow the Hollywood stars, because we are the stars. Those are just those people are there to pull you in. Those people don't have their freedom like they would like. They realize that, oh my, I signed that contract. Now, I'm a slave to the system now. I don't have, I wish I, could go back. They can go back. They just got to let go. But, the material, having all that stuff, having all that money, can they let it go? There's a lot of people that go into some dark things in life, and they get a lot of money doing what they're doing. But can you let go of it now? There's a lot of people out there, they're making lots of money. Now they got so used to going out and buying this and that. That's why that's a trap. All that stuff, the materials, like trying to get all the stuff that you can, that's a trap. It's to distract you. So anyway, I love you so much. You can change. You can do the work. You got to accept yourself for who you are. Forget about what they say. Forget about that person over there. Forget about, like anything that you did in the past. Forget about it all. It doesn't matter anything that you did in the past. Now, it's good to get right with anything that you've done. If you've done something wrong to somebody, yes, get right with that. Get right with God about it. Get right with yourself. Forgive yourself for, like ask that person to forgive you if they're still around. Say, hey, I'm sorry that happened. Hey, I found out the hard way. That was a lesson for me to learn. I learned my lesson. You can let that go. And then today, you could keep on working on yourself. If you do the inner work, if you get really serious, if you get tired of being tired of the lies and the bullshit that we've been fed our whole life, and you start getting serious and you start working on yourself, and you know what, you're going to have things that are going to pop up, but you got to be strong. You got to get through those things. And it's not personal. All this shit is just an act. This is a Hollywood movie that we're just the actors and actresses. So the facial expressions on people's faces, forget all about it. Believe me, I have seen some faces on this journey, and I'm like, but you know what, they help me out. So forget about how a person looks. Even if you go in a store, anywhere you go, you might see somebody and you're like, why are they, it's your imagination. I'm telling you, it's your imagination. It has nothing to do with you. It's this whole matrix shit. So it's a funny, messed up thing out there. You could see somebody that looks really scary. They could be the sweetest man out there, a big old, it could be a Harley guy, on a motorcycle. Just because his outward appearance looks rough and mean, that doesn't make it, it doesn't matter. So forget about what people say and what they say. And it's easy to say that, right now with Starlight, but there's times that, I go through my own shit in life, and I gotta let it go. I just had a guy say something rude to me yesterday. I was like, who are you? You know what? He doesn't even know me. Ting, out of here. I'm sending that, releasing that in love. Get out of here. I don't need your shit. So don't put up with people's shit. Don't let it get to your heart either. Just let it go and love. Send love their way. Here you go. You need more love. So anyway, I love you so much. Is that you got to let go of who you think you are. You think that you're who you are today. We can change. We don't have to stay the same. As long as you're doing the inner work, you will grow. I love you so much. This is Starlight. You could give this video a thumbs up. You could subscribe to my YouTube channel. Plus, you can leave me a message down below. Beep, beep, beep. And you can also share my videos with your family, your friends. An owl? Who? An owl. Who? An owl. Oh, an owl. And I'm trying to think of other animals that run around. A weasel. Plus, you could check out my playlist, and you can find me on Instagram at 1995 Starlight, or on Facebook, and that is Kathy with a K, Dingman Starlight. I love you all, and let go of who you think you are. You're much more than who you think you are today if you do the work. Do the inner work, love yourself, respect yourself, and say what's on your mind. It will trip people up if you really just express who you are and say what's on your mind. I love you so much. This is Starlight, and namaste. This is Starlight, love, light, and